Hey everyone, welcome back to the Pandas basic series. In this video, we'll take a deeper look at how to access and filter your data in Pandas using loc, iloc, and boolean masks. By the end, you'll know exactly when to use each one and how to combine them effectively. As you can see right now, I am already in my Visual Studio Code, and I've already created pandas part3.py file. I will now paste my pre-generated code snippets, and as you can see here, those are the things that we'll cover for today. You'll find the entire code in the video description. I'll place a link to my GitHub repository. So let's just start with the basic stuff. First thing, I will comment everything that we're not going to need right now, and we will go over everything. So just like that. Alright, now the first thing that we're going to do with our dictionary data, we're going to create a pandas data frame. As you see, I have also included a line to make it into a CSV file, because it will be easier for some examples that I'm going to show you, and we're going to print it. So let's save the file like that, and let's use our terminal to write Python pandas part3.py. This will activate this will run the code. So right now, as you can see here, this is our data frame. It has name, age, and city, and 0, 1, 2, 3 as indexes. Those are the column names, and those are the rows. We also have generated here our example.csv file. We will use it for an ease of explanation later on. So now we don't need those two lines, so we're going to comment them. And let's immediately start by showing you what data frame, what the loc is used for. So we save the file. As you can see here, we have our data frame, and as in the first lesson that I have showed you, we will get the first row, Alice, 24, New York. As you have it here, Alice, 24, New York. That's the row that's on index with the number 0. That's the same here, 0, Alice, 24, New York. Okay, what about the second way? We'll be able to access a particular cell in our data frame. For example, when we use .loc with 0 and name inside, we will get the matching cell value Alice. Alice, as you can see, is on the first row with index 0, and it is also right under the name. That's how we get it here. So loc works with indexes and column names. That's how this one works. When we use our third example, you see here that we have print df.loc, the two dots, and age. What does that mean? Let's see. So this gives us all of the rows, but it only allows the column with age to appear. That's why we have indexes from 0 to 3 with 24, 30, 22, 28. When you see here as well, you see age 24, 30, 22, 28 on 0, 1, 2, 3. That's how those things are done. That's how you ask for all of the rows with those two dots. Another thing that we can definitely do, we can use the so-called slicing, as we also use in Python, for example, to slice words. We can choose from indexes 1 up to 3, and we only get the name and the city. Let's try it. And you see, we have 1, 2, and 3, between 1 and 3, and only name and city. We have Bob, Los Angeles, Charlie, Chicago, and David from Houston. When we check here, we have them the same way. So this will be for the loc. Let's now see the iloc. The iloc, the main difference between the iloc and the loc is, as I have said earlier, loc works with labels, meaning row indices and column names, but iloc works with integer positions, not labels. So when we have the iloc here, we still get Alice as it showed the first row. Alice, 24, New York. When we comment that and we go to the second one, which is iloc 0 and 1, you get 24. But why do you get 24? What 24 stands for? When you come to your CSV file, we're going to see 0 means for the first row. So we have Alice 24 New York. And 1 means the first position, the first column. So we have name is column 0 and age is 24. That's how it got to 24. If we change that 1 to a 0 and save it and run it once again, it will show us Alice as it did. So let's try the third option here, where we actually use the iloc to select all of the rows, but we only get the second column. Let's run it. And we get 0, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston. Let's check it out. So we have 0, New York, 1, Los Angeles, 2, Chicago, and 3, Houston. So it is still the right way. Let's comment that one. And let's try the last example here. We're going to use an iloc to get from the first to the third integers, not the integers, but the first to third positions, and from position 0 to the second position. Control save, let's clear it out, and let's do it. Alright, so what happened now? We have only the first and the second index rows. What happened here? Why did it go that way? Let's look here. So we have only first and second. Okay. We have Bob, Charlie, name and age. We only get the name and the age. But why does that happen? So I'm going to show you now the comparison between loc and iloc so you can visualize it better. Let's clear this out real quick and run it. So as you see here, let me increase that. As you see here, when we use loc and we select from 0 to the second row, to the row on second index, it shows us 0, 1, and 2. But when we do it with the iloc, it shows us 0, 1. That's because on the loc, it includes that number here. It includes it. But on iloc, it excludes the last number. Alright? This is one of the most important things that you need to remember here. The loc includes the last number, the last index, but iloc excludes it. So let's comment this one and let's go to the boolean filtering. And let's start with the first example. Let me clear this out for you. And here we will print data frame age, everything that is above 25. And let's run it. You'll see 0 false, 1 true, 2 false, 3 true. When we check our example, 24 Alice is under 28, Bob is above 28, 22 is Charlie, so it is false, and David is true. That's how Boolean masks work. Let's try something else. Here, let's have everything printed out. Okay, I like it more that way. Now, you see, we only print everything that is above the age of 25. And we print all of it. So we only have Bob and David, which are on index numbers 1 and 3, and both of them are above the age of 25. What else we can do? We can choose something very specific. For example, we can print out only that rows on the data frame where the city is equal to Chicago. Let's try it. And you see only on the second index, Charlie, only they live at Chicago. And this is the way. This is truth. Let's now try something a bit more complicated. Let's try and print in this data the part where the age is above 23 and the city equals New York. Let's clear everything out. So it only gave us Alice, 24, from New York. Both the conditionals are met. It is she is above the age of 23 and Alice indeed lives in New York. And the last example that we have here, let's print out all the rows from the data frame where either the person is less than 30 years old or they live in Houston. Control save and let's run it. Oops, let's run it. So we have more rows here. Basically, we have Alice, Charlie, and David, which all of them are either below the age of 30 or live in Houston. And when we see here in our example, the only one excluded is Bob, that is 30 years old. So we use those two equal signs when we want to specify what we want to get. For example, city equals Chicago. We use this operator here when we want to include another condition. And this is the logical operator for or. So it is either that or that. Either the age is below 30 or they live in Houston. So let's also comment on that one. And let's combine a Boolean mask with loc. And you will now see we will print all the rows where the age is above 25, and we're only going to use name and city. We're only going to include the name and the city. Let's first clear out everything. Okay, so we have name and city, Bob and David. And when we see here, Bob and David are actually the only ones that are above the age of 25. And let's, at the end, summarize everything that we have already learned through this final example. Basically, loc uses labels, which indeed use indexes and column names. The iloc uses integers as positions. When we try and use loc in this situation here, we're going to get from the 0 to the second index, and we're only the rows from 0 to second index, and we're going to get everything within from name to city. As you can see here, from the 0 index to the second index, and from name to city. This means that all of that without the third one should be included. And for the iloc, we're going to get from the 0 to the second, when we exclude the second, this means only 0 and 1, the index number 0 and index number 1, and from 0 to 3, which means that all of those name, age, and city will be current. Let's now try and place it. And it is exactly as I have told you. On the loc we have name, age, and city, Alice, Bob, and Charlie, but on the iloc we have only Alice and Bob. So the most important thing that you need to understand from this short video tutorial is that loc includes the last index, but iloc excludes it. If you can get only that, you'll be quite well with it. So this will be for today's video tutorial. Thank you for watching.